Hi, this is Lauren from LSP Actions, and in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how you can add a dog into the Golden Glass digital background by Ana Brandt. You need to click on the Place Your Subject Here layer to place your edited dog image in. It's all any pet, anyone, anything. It's the same difference, same goes for everything. I would recommend shooting on a pale background if possible, because that's going to make your masking a lot easier. Digital is lit from the left. So you're going to need to make sure your subject is also lit from the left when you place them in. If not, you can right click and choose flip horizontal. So click on the Place Your Subject Here box, and you can also place your pet or your subject into any one of these additional layers here, these digital props that come in. You can place them into the dough ball. I'll show you both. Click on Place Your Subject Here. This is the orange box here. If at any point you're unsure of what I'm doing, you can watch the original video number 1, the overview, where I kind of explain the layers to you. Come up to File and choose Place Embedded. Select your image and hit Place, and you'll see it comes in. Now this is actually lit from the right, so I'm going to just right click at this point and choose Flip Horizontal to make sure the light matches. And take the opacity down a little bit and resize to suit, and roughly position your subject where you need them to be. Double click or hit enter, slide the opacity back up, and that I find is the easiest way to place your subject in. Now you need to add a layer mask to this layer. Come down here, these little icons in the bottom of your layers panel, and click the rectangular box with the circle in it. This is a layer mask, and you'll see this has added a white box to your layer. It's a bit like a scratch card. White means show, so we can see everything. Black means hide. So if you hold down Control or Command and click I, that will invert the layer mask into black, meaning you can't see anything. At this point you could grab a brush on white, make the hardness and the flow up a little bit, and you can start painting your subject in. And what I like to do in Creative Cloud, let me just put the subject back there, is hit W on the keyboard. And then at the top here you've got Select Subject. This quite often is good at making a ready-made kind of subject selection. This has selected the subject, so what you're going to want to do is go to Select in Inverse. Doesn't look any different, but that means everything is selected but the subject. Grab your brush on black, and that means you can simply just brush the background away and it does not affect your subject. That can be the easiest way of making a selection, but it really does depend on which version of Photoshop you're using and the techniques you prefer to use. So I can see there's a little bit here remaining around the edges. I'm just going over with the black brush there. Now I'm going to switch to a white brush with a lower flow and just bring some of these natural shadows back in. Really gently here. Not too much as to go over this glittery effect on the floor, but just enough so that we can, add some of those natural shadows back in. But if you don't have the latest version of Creative Cloud, you can simply click and use a black brush to hide and a white brush to show. That's the easiest way of compositing your subject in. Above your subject, you'll also see you've got subject shadowing here. You can use a white brush on this layer, make it nice and soft on a low flow, and you can add additional shadowing into your subject. You also have prop shading, so you can add more shading to the background or the props if you need to. And that way you can add any shadows in that you might find hard to pull in from your original. Say the dog was on a red background or something like that, and you needed to come in with a very, very hard, close selection. They might look a little bit like they're floating, so you can use the shadows to kind of paint some in artificially and make the subject blend a lot better with the digital background. So that's adding a dog in. As long as you've shot on a pale background, you're going to find it really super easy. I mean, this just took a few minutes for me to put in. If you've shot on a different colour or outdoors or something like that, it's going to take you a little bit more masking, but you're still going to be able to do it. There are plenty of tutorials on YouTube when it comes to more advanced masking, for perhaps, if you've got really fluffy hair. I mean, Photoshop's done a great job at selecting most of this hair, but if you've got a very fluffy dog, you're going to have to use a little bit more advanced masking in there to make sure that you're really cutting out the edge of all that fur, just to make it look realistic. You can watch the other tutorials where I show you how to use the bucket, the sleigh, the dough bowl and the shallow bowl. Extra layers here. We could pop this dog into the dough bowl. So what you're going to want to do, Control or Command T. I'm just going to position him near the bowl. And now what you're going to want to do is grab a black layer mask, a black brush on the layer mask, and start painting the dog away from this dough bowl section here. So I'm just being a bit rough about it to begin with, just getting my rough selection in place. And then switch to a white brush. You can hit X on your keyboard to do this, to switch between black and white, or you can simply click the arrows here to go between black and white. And I'm just very carefully now painting away the dog from the edge of this bowl, making sure the brush is nice and hard. I'm going to click the prop shading layer with a white brush on a nice low flow and just add a little bit of shadowing here to the inside of the bowl, just because obviously there would be some natural shadowing there coming off the dog. And on the subject shadow, I'm going to add a little bit here along the bottom, just because there would also be some natural shadowing coming into the dog from the bowl. And you can play with the opacity of these. If they're too firm, you can go in with a lighter brush, entirely up to you. So that's adding the dog into the bowl. So two completely different options there. You can watch the other tutorials for how to use these other layers for some inspiration there. But really essentially add your subject and mask, play with the shadow layers, and the rest is up to you. So enjoy that. That's available at www.lsp-actions.com. It's the Golden Glass Digital Background by Ana Brandt. I'm Lauren. Thanks for watching.